ECPAT-USA has been protecting children for 30 years. In 2020, the world came together to prevent a global health crisis. But the pandemic created a secondary emergency, a swift increase in vulnerabilities to child sex trafficking and exploitation.
We were forced to go online, and unfortunately, so did the traffickers. Online sexual exploitation of children isn't new, but with schools closed, the economy unstable, and parents ill and in crisis, vulnerabilities increased dramatically. In the first half of 2020, there was a 93% increase in online enticement reports. At ECPAT-USA, our work is to prevent these crimes. We were ready.
Schools closed, but our teaching never stopped. We made connections with students, parents, and educators. Our prevention education programs are interactive and focus on student leadership and creativity. We teach skills to build healthy relationships, understand online safety, and build community support networks. And we do it by building rapport. Kids don't want a lecture. They want a lesson in which they are the main actors, and we are their guides. We also created actual online safety guides so teens, parents, and educators can understand the foreign language of technology and its intersection with traffickers. Es importante tener la información que necesitamos en nuestro idioma. He ahí el por qué creamos estas guías de seguridad en línea. Para proteger a la juventud, hay que tener acceso a la información.
他们也有中文版本. They also have it available in Chinese.
This past year has seen enormous and historical developments, both from the pandemic, but also in the field of social justice. And ECPAT-USA has tried so deeply to engage on multiple levels with our survivors, with our supporters, and most importantly with the children who we're trying to protect when we're all operating in a virtual environment. ECPAT-USA is going to continue to innovate, to do the best job we can to protect our children, and to work closely with our partners to make sure that children everywhere are safe.
We need to break down the narratives around trafficking. Child sex trafficking occurs when someone under the age of 18 is bought or sold for sexual purposes. This issue is much more prevalent than people tend to conceptualize. Yes, it happens globally, but also here throughout the 50 states. The lack of public awareness on this issue continues to be a barrier in terms of protecting and providing services to survivors. Unfortunately, we find survivors re-victimized by the criminal justice system. We want to strengthen gaps within the social safety net and ensure survivors' rights both inside and outside the courtroom.
Kids are treated like mini criminals instead of children who are responding to the things that they've learned, the things that they've been taught, the situations that they've been placed in by adults, by the adults around them, by the systems around them. And all of a sudden that's the responsibilities placed on them.
ECPAT-USA works with lawmakers to educate them on the harms of trafficking and why we need to expand trauma-informed services to support survivors.
In a difficult year, we maintained connections with the hospitality industry and supported their anti-trafficking work by offering free resources. We made sure that hotels understood, in 17 languages, the importance of keeping their staff trained and alert to noticing behaviors that indicated trafficking, even when protocols kept people at a distance. With Marriott and AHLA's support, nearly 500,000 hotel employees took advantage of our free e-learning.
I've worked in the hotel industry for almost 20 years. The ECPAT-USA training is an invaluable resource to our team. After hearing ECPAT-USA at the virtual AHLA Safety Summit earlier this year, I shared my notes with my 8th grade daughter, Natalie. She used that information, as well as the Unpacking Human Trafficking report, to write to the governor of our state, Colorado, petitioning for laws mandating signage about human trafficking here in Colorado.
Dear Governor Polis, did you know that over 20.9 million people are trafficked worldwide each year? This is a severe issue both globally and nationally, and even happens here in Colorado. Many U.S. states have laws mandating signage about human trafficking in places such as airports, hotels, train stations, restaurants, bus stations, rest areas, truck stops, etc. Colorado does not have a law like this. I am urging you to mandate signage about human trafficking in our state. Governor Polis, Colorado should join other states in mandating signage about human trafficking. ECPAT-USA says that awareness is one of the most important ways to fight human trafficking and support victims. Please consider mandating human trafficking signage laws for Colorado.
I've been working in IT for a number of years. I guess this was my year to shine. We had to learn to connect as a team so we could show up for the kids. As an office without a physical space, we had to connect somehow in order for our work to succeed. We hosted movie night, had lunches, baked cookies together, all virtually.
When New York City's annual 5-borough bike ride was canceled because of the pandemic, ECPAT-USA saw an opportunity to bring increased meaning to what had been a fun annual event. Members of our Survivors Council shared with us where they had been trafficked in New York City. It spanned warehouse districts in the Bronx to luxury hotels on Fifth Avenue and private homes on Staten Island. We mapped out a route through all 5 boroughs to highlight that trafficking can happen anywhere. Last month, ECPAT-USA spread this message again with our partners in Suffolk County, Long Island. Our ride ranged from the Riverhead Correctional Center to the Shinnecock Nation Reservation to the glamorous beaches of the Hamptons. Through these rides, ECPAT-USA celebrates the tenacity and leadership of our greatest partners, survivors everywhere.
As we move forward, we're focused on the core principles of trust and safety, celebrating the survivor experience, and turning avoidance into action. Communications at ECPAT-USA isn't just about writing a compelling post or finding the perfect hashtag, although you should be following us on social media. It's about reaching out to the community and saying, hey, this is how you help us solve this problem. Like, this is how you make sure no child is bought, sold, or used for sex.
As the daughter of a human trafficking survivor, I understand firsthand how trauma is generational and weaves into every single component of that person and their family's lives. I came to a point in my life where I was guided by my faith to fulfill a greater purpose. I joined the ECPAT-USA Board of Directors in part to honor my mother and to help eradicate the sexual exploitation and human trafficking of our children. The value that ECPAT-USA places on survivor expertise is real, and its impact is felt in each area of our programs.